What's going on, Splatter Heads and movie lovers all around the world? It's your man Jay, and this is a special Straight Talk Only review of a fan film that was released November 16, 2024, entitled Dream Girl, and a Nightmare on Elm Street fan film. So get your popcorn ready, make sure you got your Hypnosil, and let's dive into the review of Dream Girl. Created by the individuals over at Thinking Art Entertainment, this short fan film respectfully takes the character created by the late great Wes Craven and dials him up to 11. Tormented by her nightly encounters with the dream demon himself, Amy makes a desperate attempt to prevent the curse of Freddy Krueger from being passed on to another generation. Written and directed by Bill Crossland, Dream Girl opens up to the frantic typing of Nurse Linnea Clark, played by Lexi Faith. She's then greeted by Nurse Rachel Keene, played by Taylor Harvey. After some friendly back-and-forth banter, the film tries to throw its viewer off with Nurse Keene's lethargic state as she complains about her crazy dreams. After being completely turned off by the thought of Dr. Arlen's naked body, Nurse Keene heads to the waiting room for Dr. Wilcox's next patient. In the waiting room, there's a couple waiting for their turn, but that's not who this fan film is centered around. After calling Amy Shay, we are introduced to the protagonist of this short film. Amy, played by Casey Magrin, seems to be incoherent due to the overbearing voices in her head and that eerie cry of a child. As she picks at the cuticles on her fingers, you can hear her try to calm the infant's cries by saying, "He will hear you," while also reminding herself to stay awake. Her internal battle is interrupted as Nurse Keene's calls for her get louder and louder. Nurse Keene is finally able to break through the psychosis Amy's under and escorts her out of the waiting room into the procedure room. In the procedure room, we are introduced to another nurse by the name of Jeremy, played by Zach Glassman. He's in here to gather information for Amy before the procedure even begins. While gaining this information, the audience discovered that Amy's parents resides at the old 1428 Elm Street house and that she used to sleep there. When asked if she still resided with her parents, Amy tells Jeremy that she used to sleep there sometimes, but that she can't wait anymore. This visibly confused Nurse Jeremy, but when he asked Amy how she planned on paying for the procedure, Amy's rage becomes front and center. It was at this point where the audience finds out that Amy is pregnant and the procedure that she's about to undergo is an abortion. Nurse Jeremy tells Amy about the physical requirements she would have to be experiencing in order for them to legally conduct a procedure and for the insurance companies to cover a portion of the visit. When he mentions the medical assistance only covers the procedure in cases of incest and or the life of the mother, Amy quickly tells Jeremy that the life of the mother, her life, is in danger. Amy tells Jeremy of her recent attempts at and how she tried taking her own life, but he was there waiting. This made her determined that she could not bring another life into this world with the threat of him looming. The film cuts to Dr. Wilcox, played by Kyle Minshew, prepping himself to conduct the procedure. The audience is also introduced to Nurse Lynn Weber, played by Heather Arney. Every good doctor needs a great assistant, right? But as Amy grows impatient, Nurse Weber loads a syringe with a sedative to help Amy relax. In the typical Elm Street fashion, Amy violently rejects the sedative, leaving the clinic's employees baffled. So, they substitute the sedative with something for pain. As Dr. Wilcox lifts Amy's gown, he notices deep cuts on her thighs which leave him puzzled. As the procedure continues, Amy finds her eyelids getting heavier and heavier. As the doctor dilates her cervix, Amy drifts off into a deep sleep. As Dr. Wilcox begins to insert the MVA, the audience is hit with a jump scare of a bladed glove protruding from Amy's legs, chopping Mr. Wilcox's index, middle, and ring finger completely off. Falling to the floor in agonizing pain, Dr. Wilcox grips his wrist as Nurse Weber lets out a nightmarish scream. Amy tries to escape the stirrups, but notices that she is restrained by her wrist. There's absolutely no escape for her. As she struggles to free herself, a figure raises up from between her legs, revealing himself to be Freddy Krueger, played by Travis Anderson. Amy continues to struggle to get free, asking Nurse Jeremy for his help. Snapping out of his panic psychosis, Nurse Jeremy tries to free Amy from her restraints only to abort his attempts. No pun intended. He then tries to make a frantic dash for the exit. As he tries to leave the room, Freddy appears in front of him. Jeremy becomes the first victim of Freddy's bladed glove as he slashes through his jugular vein. Amy screams for the hiding Nurse Weber to run before she becomes Freddy's next victim. Nurse Weber goes over to aid the injured doctor. As the doctor gets to his feet, Freddy greets him with a sinister one-liner. "Don't worry, Doc, you won't feel a thing." Freddy then proceeds to force his bladed glove into the mouth of Dr. Wilcox, not stopping until the blades protrude the back of the doctor's neck, killing him instantly. As Amy struggles to free herself, Freddy hovers over her and reminds her to be quiet because the baby's sleeping. As he taunts Amy, Nurse Weber grabs a scalpel and tries to attack Freddy from behind. Sensing this, Freddy turns around and grabs Nurse Weber by the throat, pushing her back against the wall. Nurse Weber begs for her life. At this point, Freddy delivers a one-liner that sent chills down my spine as he delivered it. "Your body, my choice." Freddy then proceeds to take his bladed glove and stabs Nurse Weber in the crotch and then drags his glove from her crotch to her chest, adding to the body count. After Freddy is done maiming Nurse Weber, he focuses his attention on the struggling Amy. He reminds her that he, Amy, and her baby have a lifetime of nightmares to look forward to. He runs his glove up her thigh, over her chest, and to her jawline, saying he wants to make changes to her pretty face. With another one-liner, Freddy goes in for the kill. Amy's restraints give way and she springs up to cut Freddy, not realizing that she has just awakened while cutting the forearm of one of the clinic's nurses. She's awake once again. As the nurses try to calm Amy, she brandishes a scalpel, trying to protect herself from them. One of the nurses calls for Nurse Keene as he examines the dead body of Dr. Wilcox. Amy tries to convince the nurses that she is not responsible for the murder in the examination room. Nurse Keene and Nurse Clark come into the room and find the dead doctor and two dead nurses. Nurse Clark screams and Nurse Keene runs to the medical cabinet to retrieve a sedative to neutralize Amy. The two male nurses try to convince Amy that they're trying to help her while restraining her to the bed. Amy looks over at Nurse Keene, who turns around with a sinister grin, leaving the audience on a cliffhanger as the fan film ends. If you've been following Splatter Talk Cinema, you would know that Freddy Krueger is my favorite antagonist in the horror genre, and A Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite horror franchise. So when I see fans of the series taking it upon themselves to pay homage to the series by adding their own chapter to it, I pay close attention. This fan film, Dreamgirl, is a well-directed fan film that doesn't look like a fan film. It actually looks like a film that I could see making it to the movie theater. The lighting felt cinematic, the editing kept an intense pacing throughout the 17-minute short, the script and acting felt believable as if I was watching a continuation of the original series, and I feel as if the creator showcased his love for the franchise. One part that completely stuck out to me was the death of Nurse Weber. Remember I said there was a one-liner that Freddy delivered that sent chills down my spine? It was that one-liner, "Your body, my choice." This film was able to take such a delicate subject and handle it with care. Abortion has been a heated topic of discussion within the social and political landscape, and Dreamgirl was able to take that and make a huge statement with just one line. The kills in this short film put a smile on my face. After the original franchise left us with the 2010 remake, Fred Heads have been looking for ways to continue to enjoy the Nightmare franchise without having to endure films like A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 or Freddy vs. Jason. Fan films definitely hit the spot in that regard. There was no shortage of blood, but it wasn't over the top like you would see in today's horror movies, kind of like The Terrifier. Even with the death of Dr. Wilcox, though elaborate, it didn't turn my stomach or seem pointless. Each kill had purpose and a one-liner that drove the kill home. The two MVPs of this short film were Casey Magrin as Amy and Travis Anderson as Freddy. While watching this fan film, I kept finding myself saying that Casey could play a younger Alice Johnson if a studio chose to cast her. Casey's acting was great and truly believable. She played a manic victim haunted by Freddy extremely well. Travis Anderson was able to put his own spin on the Freddy Krueger character. It wasn't like some fan films where the actor would actually be portraying Freddy only to be doing his best Robert Englund impression. He actually seemed to incorporate other mannerisms that seemed exclusively to his portrayal. The only gripe that I would have is the obligatory bitch line. We all know Freddy has a penchant for calling his victims bitch, so I wish we would have left that out. But overall, I enjoyed his attempt at the Freddy Krueger character. So, rating Dreamgirl and A Nightmare on Elm Street fan film, I'll use a rating scale that doesn't incorporate the original franchise. I'll rate it as a fan film and not a feature-length film. So, I will give Dreamgirl, A Nightmare on Elm Street fan film, a solid 4.5 out of 5. If you're looking for a very entertaining 17 minutes filled with kills and Freddy Krueger at his most menacing, I would encourage you to give this fan film a watch. As a Fred head myself, you will not be disappointed. Thank you for tuning in to another Straight Talk Only video. I want to give a shout out to everybody that participated in creating this fan film. I was able to enjoy another tale from Elm Street, which I love tremendously. I honestly hope that Thinking Art Entertainment considers making a full-length movie around this scene, because I would be the first to watch it. If you have a fan film that you want us guys over here at Splatter Talk Cinema to review, you can email us at splattertalkcinema@gmail.com and let us know. If you have a fan film that you would like us to check out and review, put it in the comment section and we will certainly look into it. If you enjoyed that review and you want to see more reviews, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any time we drop a video. If you'd like to help this channel out a ton, just drop a like on the video and share this content so that we can get it out to even more horror fans. Also, keep a lookout for the commentary of Dreamgirl, A Nightmare on Elm Street fan film in its entirety by myself, Rick, and Sin. It's going to be one hell of a ride. But until then, this has been your man, Jay. Splatter Talk Cinema, straight talk only in this room. And it's a wrap.